welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Chris Moore, and today we've been on a road trip since quite early this morning, but I'm not sleepy. Yeah, that's right, guys. I am amped up. This has been a long time coming. Super excited for today. What are we doing today? Yeah, guys, we're at a special place today. We're at HTP Performance. We're here picking up the world's first Gen 3 Turbo Hayabusa. Stay with us, guys. This is going to be a fun one. Here we go.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Glad to have you. We've been working hard on this Gen 3 boost for you.
It's been so hard to keep it a secret. I've been wanting to talk about it so much and spill the beans. It's like,
I know.
It's killing me.
Tempted to put out little nuggets, little sneaks, but
I know.
It's coming together, and we're excited to show you.
Good deal. Let's get to it.
Yeah. Well, this is your first time to the shop.
It is. Why don't you show me a little bit around before?
I'll give you, the mini tour and show you around.
Cool.
Some of our old trophies, win-ins back in the day. This year is our 20th anniversary here at HTP. So
20th anniversary. That's a big deal.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. So we got some stuff planned for the year, but it's gone by so fast. I can't believe it's been 20 years already. So yeah, let me show you around.
20 years. That's a big accomplishment.
Thank you.
So many businesses think that, or so many people want to get into this business and think it's easy.
It's not. It's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride, and recessions and COVID and everything else. All the other challenges that you don't really expect.
And the good thing is you guys keep just getting bigger and bigger and bigger too.
We're thankful. Now we're entered into manufacturing, and so I'll show you some of that stuff.
Oh, cool.
Enter into our parts room. So.
Wow, you guys have all kind of stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I kind of got it spread all over. Up here is like the garage front ends that we make. We work really closely with K-Tech. Those are the shock stuff that we send. We got some suspension stuff over here.
And you guys make all this stuff in-house?
Yeah, so we've got multiple CNC mills that we do. We've been doing our own cylinder head program for a couple of years now too. So we've got a couple of new machines for that as well, and new ones, single point.
Well, I see plenums. Well, you guys got all kind of cool stuff.
Turbo stuff everywhere. So yeah, those are the plenums for the new 1000 or 2017 and newer 1000.
I got to bring one of those back next.
Yeah.
We might as well do another one.
Heck yeah, the 2017 is an awesome platform, so we've been having a lot of fun with that. So,
up until this point, that bike, the 17 and newer 1000, has been my favorite.
Yeah.
I think the new busa with what we've done may change my ideas.
I think you're gonna like.
I think it's gonna be really cool. So, yeah, you guys got a little bit of everything in here.
I want to show you around, but I know you want to get to the good stuff.
I know.
Knock, knock. Mr. Moore Mafia is here.
Ooh, there she is. This thing looks so good. Man, definitely not the same bike I gave you, 2-3 months ago?
No, it's a little different now.
A little different for sure. Slam sitting on the ground. Let's see where the turbo's at. Oh yeah, this thing, ooh-wee. Yeah, this thing is gonna be a monster. Cannot wait. We have finally built what, I'm not gonna say Suzuki should have built this to start with, because this can't be, I feel like, trusted with any and everybody. But man, I feel like we've definitely built the ultimate street bike. We'll tell them how much power it makes in just a minute. We're gonna wait and show them some dyno graphs, but I think you've finally done it.
Yes, sir.
You wanna tell us a little bit about what you did to it? Of course you added a turbo kit, but the engine, a stock engine won't hold up to what we're about to put it through, right?
Right, no, so we were well exceeding what a stock motor would do. A stock motor would probably handle 250, 275, pretty simple, but no.
Not enough. Not for what we're trying to do.
No, we need 500 plus.
We want, don't tell them all the secrets yet.
So basically, the engine has turbo pistons from CP. Carrillo, also we got into high horsepower, new Hayabusa H-beam rods that are good for up to 1,000 horsepower. We got some 60-pound valve springs thrown in there, along with some HTP custom grind camshafts and HTP Performance cylinder head. After that, then it goes, the motor after that is pretty much stock as far as stock crank, OEM transmission, everything Suzuki updated in the Gen 3 transmissions will hold up. The thing's pretty tough. It's got bigger output shaft and everything, just like they did in the Gen 2s for what we're going to do. But yeah, that takes care of the motor side of the house, and then I think DME hooked you up with an oil pan and got that all taken care of to give us some good ground clearance so we could slam this thing on the ground when we put a turbo in the front and didn't have an exhaust hanging underneath of it.
So it's still 1,300 cc's, right? Factory size.
Yeah, 1,340 to be probably exact.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's stock bore, stock stroke. And then outside of that, we didn't change the displacement at all, but we did make it to where it would handle some boost. So the compression ratio is a
Look at
little
this.
lower.
We got,
So we got a couple of parts to make this turbo kit complete. This is the Garrett turbo. It's a G30 770 that we're using. This is our HTP bottom of our plenum. It's all billet CNC'd in-house here. The fuel rail is actually part of the plenum. So fuel will actually come into the bottom of the plenum, go through, the injectors hang down here, and it exits out of the bottom here. So the fuel rail is actually incorporated into the plenum. And then on top of that
you guys
plenum,
designed all that on here.
yeah, I'll bring Justin over here in a second to show you the CAD drawing. This again is the prototype of the top of the composite plenum that we did, and like you can see, it kind of sits over here. This is the first prototype piece. It's not the exact, and it sits over, bolts on. We got our own X-ring system that we used. We incorporated a Bosch single drive-by-wire throttle body. That's what feeds the beast.
So it doesn't have, didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
it doesn't have 4 normal throttle bodies like a normal bike?
No, it doesn't. So basically, we got rid of the ITBs on the Gen 3. Of course, everybody loves it. Comes with drive-by-wire or ride-by-wire. The downside to that is with a turbo, you then got to hook a plenum to it. And to make the package a lot more compact, we got rid of the OEM throttle bodies. On the previous GSXR 1000, the L7 model, we incorporated our plenums into the drive-by-wire throttle bodies, and it was a good deal. But you had to bolt the throttle body and the plenum together because, of course, when you build boost, it wants to blow off. So we were trying to make the most sealed tight because we also knew what was going to go on here. We're trying to hit for max everywhere. So therefore, we wanted to make the system as airtight as possible. So we eliminated the factory ITBs and put in this like one-piece plenum with a single drive-by-wire throttle body. And Justin did all the math, calculated it out to where we had the right amount of volume in our plenum to feed that 1,340 cc engine. And I'll let Justin come over here and show you on his CAD drawing. You can see how we got about where we were on doing the plenum. All right, guys, this is Justin Collier here with HTP Performance. It's our CAD design and machinist, and this is one of his beasts that he helped conjure up with me. So
yeah, so when this whole thing started, Cecil made it real clear that we didn't want to just do another turbo system. We wanted to make it look almost as if Suzuki had done it. So we started from scratch. Like you mentioned earlier, we took the throttle bodies off, went to the single drive-by-wire throttle body. And we started at the cylinder head and built and designed everything to the turbo. Like you said, we calculated the right volume for the plenum. We wanted it to behave well on the street. We even researched the sealing properties, and there's not a single O-ring anywhere in the whole system. It's all X-ring technology for total seal and reliability.
Wow, yeah, that's gonna be cool. Yep. I know it's a common thing that a lot of turbo bikes, they blow the plenum off, or I've even rode them before when they had ratchet straps on them.
Yeah.
Like, yep. That was just like, it seemed backyard or whatever, but that's what you had to do to keep the plenum on sometimes. No matter what, the plenum blows off, and the way you guys got it designed, that's not possible. I mean, literally, it's like Suzuki made this turbo kit for the bike.
Yeah, it's physically mounted to the cylinder head to where, I mean, I don't recommend it, but you probably could lift the engine up by the plenum.
Wow.
Like it is bolted straight to the intake port, and like I said, with the clamping system that he designed, it literally something like I said, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could literally take a hoist and pick the whole engine up with the damn plenum on it.
So we got the engine, we got the turbo, we got the plenum. How do we control all this stuff?
So we're using Motec M130 ECU. That's my forte here. That's what I like to use. It's my go-to ECU for a project like this. Because we have the capability of writing our own firmware, we can take one-off new of a kind programs and do it for a new project like this, because we all know, Chris is probably going to take this thing out and we're going to need to change something. So at least I have the ability to be able to rewrite the firmware if he gets home tonight and doesn't like the way it runs. So we'll be able to change that. Another thing we incorporated into it too, upon Chris's request, was the flex fuel. It's nothing, been around forever. It's no new technology, been in probably everyday driving car. But Chris wanted to be able to have this bike be able to run pump gas and then technically run something with ethanol content in it. So
E85.
that's an ethanol content sensor. He can go, 100% ethanol all the way down to none. It reads it and it will adjust the map for it based off of that. So when we were tuning the bike on the dyno, we made sure we hit both. We ran, 90 plus octane fuel first, and then we ran with ethanol content. We just kept watching the ethanol content sensor and making sure that all the maps were being corrected as so he can stop at any gas station and grab whatever they got at the pump, what's available.
Wow, that's going to be super cool. Now, how about traction control? The bike came with traction control and wheelie control and all that stuff from the factory. I'm sure we had to get rid of that when we put the turbo kit on.
Yes and no. So we're not utilizing the OEM IMU to do the traction control and the wheelie control. The OEM IMU is still on the bike and it is still functioning. We are using the factory wheel speeds along with a loop laser rod height sensor. It's a 0 to 40 inch sensor that we can monitor rod height with, and we can do boost compensations based on rod height. We can do ignition compensations based on rod height. Same thing goes with the traction control. If your rear wheel speed is greater than your front wheel speed, you're obviously spinning. If your front wheel speed is less than the rear wheel, your front wheel's probably not in the air. Or is in the air, it's not on the ground. Yeah.
That's how I want to keep it the whole time.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Chris wants it just to stay there.
Yeah.
So that's what we're working on. So, yeah, all those things, the good thing about the M130 is I do have the ability to be the author of our own firmware. So, like I said, that's things that we're going to be dialing in. That's the next phase right now, dialing in this thing and getting it to where it's
real world street testing.
Street testing.
So this is going to be a super cool project. I'm wondering, I think it's got enough power to pick the front tire up. You think it'll do it in sixth?
Oh, I think it will.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it has a button on it that you can. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. This is going to be a lot of fun. Dyno, we obviously put it on the dyno.
Yep. So
think we should hold out on them a little longer, or should we should go ahead and show them the dyno number?
We'll hold out on the big number.
Okay.
Let's talk about the daily, where our end goal was.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, or when I say somebody, I mean me/anybody else that wants to build one of these things, you got to be able to ride it, and you can't ride it with 500 horsepower every day and all day.
The goal for me was just how you wanted it, as far as with the flex fuel pump gas and say E85. So on pump gas, this thing is 300 to 320 all day long, super safe. You can drive it every day at that power level. You stop at the gas station or pick you up a can of any type of 85 ethanol or better. You throw it in the tank, then it'll make 370 to 400.
Wow.
That's the easy setup. Like, that's kind of like the daily cruiser and go after it.
So
like
400 horsepower is a daily cruiser street bike?
I mean,
it is now, right?
It is for you.
Yeah. All right, so let's show them a few pictures of what this thing, because I gave you this bike with 0 miles on it. Literally, it had a few heat cycles on it, and what'd you do? You took it apart.
Yeah.
Brand new bike. Let's show them a little bit about, this is how she came in, or a couple days after it came in. Mm-hmm. This is with the engine back in. This is the plenum they were talking about. And then this is what she looks like naked now, boys. But enough talking about this thing. We got to hear it run, dude.
Yeah, let's fire it up.
Fire it up. Let's see what this thing sounds like. my street bike, dude. This thing sounds like Godzilla. Oh my God. Literally sounds like a straight up drag bike.
Yeah.
Wow, this thing is cool. There is a,
We're at the Moonshiner.
I know, that fuel is strong.
Corn whiskey up in here.
Wow. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Show me a little bit about, what is this? We got a line and stuff tapped into the swing arm. What is that for?
So basically we're using the factory swing arm as your crankcase vent, if you want to call it.
Oh, so like a puke tank.
It's a puke tank. So the crankcase vents into the factory arm. It's got a drain down at the bottom. And because the swing arm's got a whole hollow area, we utilize that as a puke tank. We try to use everything that was on the bike.
Wow.
We had to put an external CO2 bottle on it. So
Oh, okay.
you get extra boost.
So that's how we control the boost and keep it all regulated.
Yep, and keep it all regulated in.
Wow. This thing is going to be super, super cool. And everything that was on it from the factory is basically still there and then some extra.
Yeah, I don't think we actually removed any hard parts other than the mud flap, body trimming, of course, and those big baseball bat exhausts that came on it.
So the clutch cover, you guys made all this in-house. What's behind this? Like, how does that?
So we engraved the cover, this MTC Gen 2 clutch in this thing.
So that's a centrifugal based, basically a lockup clutch.
It's
In other
RPM,
words,
it's RPM derived lockup clutch. So the higher RPMs you get, the more lockup force you get on the arm, and that's in there to handle the power that the bike makes.
that way we don't have to have a crazy stiff clutch. So the clutch, wow, it actually feels factory.
Yeah.
Like literally you can't tell anything is ever done to it.
Correct.
So good for street manners, because if you didn't have that, you would have to have the clutch so stiff in order to hold this much power.
Right.
Literally, it would feel like an old chopper or something. Like
yeah.
you wouldn't even, I mean, your hand after riding it 5 minutes would be cramping up, about to fall off. You wouldn't be able to stand it.
One outing downtown and a couple stoplights, you'd be ready to get off of.
Yeah, for sure.
Now it'll feel just like stock. If not, you can actually make it even softer than OEM, so it doesn't bother you at all. So
Wow, yeah, no, that's super
fully
cool.
adjustable.
That's super cool. I cannot wait to test this thing out. I guess we got to see the dyno numbers, dude.
Let me go.
Let's see what it's all about.
Cool.
All right, guys, so here we are in the dyno room, HTP Performance. Now, I'm not going to let Cecil show you all the sauce. We got to do some street testing. We're going to see how this thing does, like how much power will safely be rideable and how much power might kill somebody. So before we go advertising what this thing can really do, we're going to show you the horsepower numbers on pump gas. In other words, 3 pounds of boost on the wastegate spring, and then the base numbers on E85 with 9 pounds of boost. So 302 horsepower is what we made.
302 on pump gas, and that was being super safe with the tune. That was getting the timing, very safe, fueling safe. Basically a daily driver at 300 horsepower. And then I just eased into it a little bit with 9 pounds of boost. We got up to 372 horsepower on E85. And that was just, we added about 6 pounds on top of the spring. It didn't hit it, early. It took the top of the run to get to that point. And again, another safe tune-up. This is kind of like the thing's stock wheelbase. Like, we don't know what it's going to take, what it's going to handle. 370 should get us started, for sure.
For sure. And it's going to take us a while to dial that in, and that's why the good thing we're going to have this figured out before we start to introduce this project to the public.
Right. Yeah, we want to make sure we get all their bases covered, because if the public's going to purchase technically a production Hayabusa modified to his specs, then we want to make sure that we got all the details ironed out before. We want to make it safe. We want to make a lot of power, but we want to make it safe too.
And did I hear this right? 300 horsepower is going to come with a warranty?
Yes, it will.
Wow, this is going to be literally, nobody's ever seen this stuff before. Not only is this one of a crazy idea that I had, but this man said, yeah, we can make that happen. We can do that.
Yeah.
So we still got some details to iron out. As far as price goes, how much is something like this going to cost? We still working on that. We got to figure out, once we do real world testing, what else has to be added, what else has to be subtracted or can be subtracted.
Right.
Prices to be announced. Availability time on like how long a build takes to be announced. But I'm thinking it should be able to happen relatively what?
It's all going to be after the test. Once we test it, I'll know. As far as a production timeline, I just have to see what comes in and out of the kit.
Yeah, because there could be some things we got to
There could be
add.
some things that we add, or there could be things that we can delete. Like Chris's first version, I tried to make it as unrestricted as possible. Like he has the gold key, if you want to call it. Like he is completely wide open. Like if he wants 700 horsepower, go get it.
Boom!
Got it.
H2s taking out all of you guys.
There you go.
There's no such thing as a H2 fast like this. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. We will have some more street testing in action in the next video coming up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications. These people right here, they're the ones that made this possible. Thank you, HTP Performance. You have built an absolute monster. All right, guys, smash that like button. We'll see you next time.